Hello, hello. Sorry about the bugs. It is time for a week 4 garden tour. You know, I watched the last video that I put out, of course, because I edited it, but you don't realize how many times you say and. Okay, at least I do. So it is time for week 4 garden tour. I try to wait until the end of the day to kind of do these videos. So the sun, there you go. So the sun is down and we can see a little bit better, but that just means that we have bugs, lots of bugs in my face. So I wanted to start in the back of the garden, or along this patch right here where we have planted seeds to hopefully have some pollinator flowers. So I'm going to start back here. Let's get started. Right along here, along this thicket line where the dirt is a little bare, I planted some forget-me-nots, and they have not come up yet. And as you can see, there's lots of weeds. There's going to be lots of weeds and lots of grass. I am not going to try to control this right now. These are our Zinnia starts, seedlings that I started indoors, and I transplanted them out here into the native soil. And I've never grown zinnias. However, I think they're not getting enough sun because they just look pale and more yellow than they do green. But as you can see, this one looks like it may have a bud of some sort coming up. So if they do flower, I will be tickled. This one has some damage to it already. And if you can see here, there's a lot of plants coming up that look like this. This one right here. You see there's a lot of these coming up right here. And I did spread out a wildflower mix that I bought in a bag of seeds. So maybe that is what we're seeing here. There's another zinnia. This is the one that was pinched, hoping it would grow 2 stalks. I have found that my Snapdragons are not doing very well. They're alive. See this right here? It's a Snapdragon seedling. Here's one. They're alive, but they're not thriving. I'll show you. Oh, look at this. Hey, buddy. You can't live here. This cannot be your dinner tonight. Alright, let's do our duties as a gardener. Sorry about it. Okay. So if you can tell right here, there's a rectangular patch here and there that I raked up, and I planted bachelor's buttons and forget-me-not seeds. So maybe, hopefully they'll start to grow. Okay, so this is our new development. Isn't that nice? We took the tarp off. I took the tarps off. And let it be a warning to you that if you have tarps on the ground and you live somewhere where there are fire ants, they will make themselves nice and cozy in your ground. So as you can see, there's still ants in there crawling around. I've done three things so far. Yesterday is when I discovered these, and there was a pile here and a pile over there where that dark dirt is. And I scooped up ants from over here to put them over on this one, and they were still alive today. So maybe it takes time to work. I've heard that you had to get the queen out of the ant pile to, transfer queens. How do you ever know that you're actually doing that? So then today I got a big pot of hot water and put some orange essential oil in it, because I've read that that might work, and that's why these are a lot darker. They're wet. I've poured the orange oil water on both of these. That didn't really seem to work, and so then I went across the driveway where there were some more ant beds and got a big shovelful, 2 shovelfuls of ant beds over there, and brought them over here to put on these beds. And that's when I digged them up, and the soil's all disturbed, trying to mix them together. I don't know if that'll work either. So the issue is that I'm not a huge ant killer. Last year I had a big ant bed in my garden, my raised bed, and it didn't bother me. It didn't bother my plants. It actually started eating on some aphids or whatever they do with the aphids. They have like a weird thing they do with aphids. But the only bad thing about it was that my children would think it was interesting, and they would poke on it, of course get bitten by ants. And we're not allergic to ants, and so it's not that big of a deal. And I kind of, I believe in like natural consequences of things, and so I'm not going to take away something that could, harm them. It's not like deathly harm, but I feel like they should learn that lesson, and learn to know what an ant pile is and not to touch it, because we have them everywhere. They're all in the ground around here, and they just need to know what they are. So the only reason that this is really an issue for me is because this is exactly right here where this ant pile is. You can see I've made a hill on the other side. This is where I plan to do my hills for my pumpkin and squash, like butternut squash and watermelon and gourd. And the only time that I've grown a watermelon, when they were ripe. Of course, I wasn't a very good attentive gardener. I didn't go check them and pick them, but the ants got to them. And so I'm really concerned about these ants being here and me growing, my vegetables here or my fruits, and, them eating my harvest. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet. I'm definitely not going to poison. That's something I forgot to mention on my garden talk last couple days ago, was that my gardening practice for me personally is like mostly all natural, organic type gardening. I'm not certified by any means, but my children come out here and eat this stuff right out of the garden, and it not only that, but when I take it inside to prepare it, I don't want to have to worry if it's got residual chemicals and things on it. And for me to put ant poison on this and then grow vegetables on top of it who are going to be taking in nutrients from the soil, that just doesn't make sense to me. And so I'm either gonna make sure they're all gone before I plant over it, or I'm just gonna move my hills, move my planting site. So, but yesterday, Saturday, was a really big work day. We got some sunflowers planted. These are sunflower seedlings that I started indoors, and apparently you're not supposed to do that. I mean, look how they were huge, ginormous, tall plants. They didn't really need to be in there. But I went ahead and transplanted them out here, and we planted this patch of dirt with okra seeds, and so hopefully they'll come up, and when they do, You see I got some mulch down around the edges. When those seeds come up, I'll go ahead and mulch around the small little seedlings. We got some more sunflowers here, and I planted some more seeds in that sunflower seeds as well. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is where the tarps were. Got a few hills made to have a lot of extra dirt, which I'm not complaining about. Over there it's on my cardboard. I was on my hands, you know, weeding, getting all the extra grass up that was under the tarp that did not die. So I've got those over there. Need to burn them or something. Let's look at the onion bed. I got some mulch down in here. Those over there are Snapdragons. Those Snapdragons are doing fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. I don't know if it's because the variety of Snapdragons, or if it's that, you know, I don't really know. Maybe they like the soil better. They're doing great. There's our nasturtium down there. We'll go look at it. Look at these onions. These things are looking fabulous. And I've heard that, you know, onions don't like competition in growing. They don't like things packed around them. In fact, a lot of people spoon out the dirt that's around the bulbing onion to give it room to grow. And so I put this mulch very lightly around it just to keep the weed suppression out, you know, to give it weed suppression, keep the weeds out, and to retain moisture, because this bed was getting pretty dry. Some nasturtium down here. This nasturtium is looking great. This was transplanted twice, actually. I potted it up and I transplanted it. And it looks like it's really green. Looks lovely. I'm noticing, what is this? The back of one of these is purple. This down here is purple. I don't really know. But it looks good. Alright. Okay, so I planted some purple Hull peas not too long ago, and they're coming up. Look at that. Looks like he has an eye with his little hat. Or his crazy hairdo. And I planted a zinnia right here. Hasn't come up yet. You see I'm kind of mulched around the seedlings because they're not all germinated yet. So hopefully they'll come up soon. This marigold is not doing very good. But this one is doing great. And I don't know why. Here's our tomato plants. These are the Roma tomatoes. And I think oh, here it is. Look. Let's see. Do you see that right there? That's gonna be a blossom. We'll have tomatoes soon. Here's our dill. And I mulched around those again. And these are my garden stakes, my tomato stakes. My husband, handy husband, you gotta have one. He made them for me. So those will go. Those will replace our little hickory sticks that we have here. Here's our triple L crop. And is that all I had in here? Okay, yeah. Marigold. And then here's some green bean. I planted some green beans over here, and so far I've only had one sprout. And it's really concerning to me. I think I may not have good germination with those. However, our neighbors actually gifted us some contender green bean seeds, and Roma Italian 2 green bean seeds. I'd never heard of them before, but we like to kind of like barter with each other. They have chickens, we don't, and so they give us eggs, and I grow a lot of things that they don't. And so yesterday we bartered more eggs. We got 18 eggs, and I gave them a whole gallon Ziploc of spinach and lettuce out of the garden, and he gave us some seeds. Oh, and I had 3 extra tomato plants. I gave them to him. So yeah, I like doing that. I think it's really cool. I love having, and I gave them extra onions that I had started, and their garden is right by the road. And so when I drive by, I always like, you know, look over there and see what's growing and like how it's doing over there. And I just think it's really neat. They're really nice people, and I love having them over there. Anyway, so he gave me some more seeds, and if these don't germinate down here, then I will go ahead and plant those over here. We do need to save room for our bell peppers though, and cucumbers at the end. Here's our potatoes. Aren't they looking good? These are our Yukon Gold right here, these first 3 rows. Let's see how tall they are. Isn't that good? Little carrots. Oh yeah, I mulched pretty heavily. Yeah, supposedly potatoes, when they grow up close to the soil, if they get too much sunlight on them, they'll turn green, and it produces a toxin. Can't remember what it's called, but if you eat it, a lot of it will make you sick. This is the dark red Norland. I will link in the description below all the varieties and where I got them from, because I don't remember too well the varieties. They look so good. I hope we get potatoes, y'all. I hope I'm not filled with false hope. There's our garlic. See, it's turning yellow at the top, but it has not produced a scape. Supposedly Hardneck garlics will produce a scape, which is like, I guess like right here in the middle. Not this particular one, this is a leaf. But in the middle, it's supposed to shoot up a stem with like a flower on the top of it. But before the flower opens, you want to cut it down, and you can eat it. Like, you can use it in your cooking. But cut that down to keep it from flowering. Because if it flowers, then it won't produce as good cloves at the bottom. So I think maybe it's just overwatered right now, and that's why some of this stuff is yellow and brown. I don't know. And a marigold. Now this is a marigold that reseeded itself. Doesn't it look lush and healthy? Hallelujah. Here's our spinach. This is what I consider the baby spinach, and this is what we call the mama spinach. It's the same variety, this is just older. We're not going to eat this older stuff. I am actually going to try to give that to the neighbor for their chickens or their donkeys. See if they want it. This is our Butter King head lettuce. It's looking fantastic. There's another one. Here's this lettuce mix. This stuff grows so fast. Okay, here we go. So look, I transplanted my pineapple tomatillo. I've got 2 of them. So I've got one right here because, you know, if it gets big enough, the plan is that it will grow, you know, tall and kind of make shade for these cooler season crops, so maybe they'll last a little bit longer. I don't know. And that's kind of where I just planned to plant them this year, was in this bed, kind of right where they are. But here's the other one. So we got one right there, and then we got one right here. And I planted these for the kids to eat. Something fun to eat. These are our carrots. Big, lovely carrots. I'm not going to harvest them. I'm just going to be patient. Here's our broccoli sprouts. They're doing good. And here's our big broccoli. These do not have anything forming yet. So, okay, so if you notice, there's something missing here. We harvested the rutabagas because the leaves were getting too big and they were shading out this nasturtium and this kale, and I was ready to try them. I never had them before, but I will actually insert a video right here. Hey guys, so listen, today I'm actually making kung pao chicken for supper tonight, and I'm gonna harvest these rutabagas because I've noticed that this nasturtium, watch out, this nasturtium that I planted is not doing very well. The other nasturtium that I planted out is doing a lot better. It's getting a lot more sun. See, see this leaf? Just covering it up. So, and it's getting fairly big.
And I like to eat them.
You never had one.
Yes, I have.
We're about to eat it tonight. I'm making kung pao chicken for supper, and I was gonna roast these in the oven, like potatoes. I heard you could roast them like potatoes. All right, you ready?
Yes.
Man, this thing is huge. No.
Oh. You're digging up that soil.
I know, I gotta try to shake the soil back in there.
Did it look like a carrot or a flower or something?
Look at the root system on that thing. Wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty big. I mean, the one I've seen online often are a lot bigger than this, but, or they look bigger, but it'll serve its purpose. Alright, let's get the other ones out.
Oh yes, I'll help.
Okay, put your hand right here. Ooh! Now let's shake the dirt off of it. That one's kind of wimpy. Let's get this one out.
Here. And what about those?
Those are broccoli. I'm not going to get those. We're just getting the rutabaga. Alright. So, that's our harvest. 3 rutabaga plants. That's ain't not bad.
Look, a spider.
It's enough to try it.
Look, a little tiny baby spider.
Where?
Right there.
Oh, I see it, yeah. Don't touch it. Whew. So, like I said, I'm going to roast these in the oven like I would potatoes. The way I roast potatoes is at an oven at 435 degrees Fahrenheit. And I cut the potatoes in 2 different sizes. And I split them between...
Hey! I was trying to see.
and I split them. I split the pan into 2 different sizes. So on one side, I'll do really thin sliced ones for like crunchy type potatoes, and then the other side I'll do more thick sliced, and those end up being more, you know, like for children to eat. It's easier for them to eat. So yeah, I'm gonna cut them up. I put olive oil on them, and I put salt on them, and lay them flat in the pan, and I cook them for about 15 to 20 minutes. Sometimes I flip them, sometimes I don't. With the rutabaga, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. I think I'm just gonna cook them the way I normally would for potatoes, and see how they turn out. But I just wanted to show you guys. But there's our one that's left. So this nasturtium, you can see it's all yellow with some of these leaves. Just was not doing very good compared to the other one. But this kale has grown. It's putting on more leaves. Now let's look at this over here. I have not planted anything right here yet. This is going to be bell peppers and cucumbers at the end. We have marigolds. And there's our Cherokee purple tomatoes. And y'all look. Where is it? That's a tomato blossom. I'm excited. So excited. I am so excited to get like a hot summer day, and I'm gonna plan it out. I'm gonna look at the forecast, and I'm gonna, like, at 3 nice sunny days, I'm not gonna water them. I'm just gonna let all of those sugars concentrate in there, and I'm gonna pick it in the middle of the day, and it's gonna be delicious, right? That's my dream for this, like, Cherokee purple tomato experience, like my first ever. Okay, so I want to show y'all my sweet alyssum. I direct sowed this over here, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 weeks ago, and I didn't know what it looked like as a seedling, but it's finally come up. So let's look at it. Here it is. There's one right there. Over here. See that white flower on it? Oh, this looks like a little snapdragon, maybe. I can't remember what all I planted out here, you know? I just get excited one day and just plant. Alright, here's more of them. You see those pretty white flowers? Now, supposedly this sweet alyssum is a cousin of the brassica family, which is like your cabbage and broccoli and things like that that like to grow in the cooler weather. And it's a low-growing ground cover that reseeds readily and is good for pollinators. So I am all for that. And if you saw one of my last videos, I was looking for suggestions for zinnias to plant, and so I planted an Illumination pink zinnia right there. It hasn't come up yet, but hopefully it will. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to show you is my petunia. Now, supposedly these petunias are considered a tender perennial in warmer climates. I am in USDA zone, hardiness zone 8A right now. And so anyway, I didn't think they could come back, but apparently they can. But y'all, look at this beautiful petunia. This pretty pink fuchsia color. I bought this like in full bloom from the store last year in this hanging pot, and it has grown off the old wood. Isn't that lovely? It lived through the snow and the freeze. Like, awesome. Alright guys, so thank you for joining me today. This beautiful, beautiful April day. Man, it's been like 63 degrees Fahrenheit today. The low's in the 40s. I think tomorrow we have a low of 38, which is crazy. But it's just for 1 or 2 nights. And then we'll be in the 50s and 60s at night. So, and then right now I'm hardening off my pepper plants, because come Thursday, Friday, when those temperatures warm up at night, they're going out. So, yeah. So thank you for joining me today, and we will see you next time. Bye.